What is going on, everyone? Sam here. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I sort of look at my cards when I'm looking to send them in for grading. Now, I will give a little preface in saying that I'm no expert in this, but I feel like I have generally a good eye for what I'm looking for. When I'm looking to send cards to PSA, I'm generally going to go to my local card shop and get a second opinion from their expert there. However, this is going to be an SGC submission, and for those I just kind of do myself. So I'm going to show you guys some cards that I'm looking to send in for grading. I just picked all of these up today from Indie Card Exchange. Big shout out to them. So first things first, when you're looking to grade cards, you're going to want your supplies, and we have here the card savers. These are what you're going to submit your cards in. And these are semi-rigids, so they're a little bit easier to get the cards in and out of, and this is what the grading companies generally want to have the cards submitted in. So you need card savers. I'll leave a link also in the description down below for all the supplies that I use, so if you guys are interested in getting your own supplies when you're looking to grade your cards, the links will be down below. Now, the next thing I'm going to use is this microfiber cloth. This is a brand new one. They basically look like glasses cleaners, if any of you guys use glasses, but it's just a little cloth that you use to kind of wipe down the surface of the chrome and make it all shiny and nice, get out any sort of inadequacies that you see on the card. So, nice microfiber cloth. And then brand new penny sleeves, and I'm going to show you guys a little trick later of how to get the cards in and out of the penny sleeves just a little bit easier, but you want to make sure you have brand new fresh penny sleeves. So we're going to shift these up here, and let's go ahead and take a look at our first card. So like I said earlier, I picked these up from Indie Card Exchange earlier today. They looked pretty clean in the shop, so we'll kind of see how they look under more scrutiny and see if any of them are worth it to get graded. I'm generally pretty picky when it comes to the cards that I pick to get graded, but we'll see. SGC is so cheap to send cards in that sometimes it's better to just send it in, get it in a slab, and you can sell the card a lot easier. So we've got these two Jonathan Kumingas. Let's start with these. So the first thing I'm looking for is going to be the surface. I want to see if there's any sort of inadequacies or inconsistencies in the surface of the card. Take your microfiber cloth here and just kind of, see anything, just kind of give it a little wipe. This one was a little tiny bit there. I don't know if you probably can't see it on the camera. There's a little bit on the surface there. Just kind of a little dot. There's another one up there. The ones that aren't like pure chrome are a little harder for me to tell whether it's the card or whether it's just kind of like how it is. So let's look at the back. We're mainly just looking for any big like scratches or indents or something that's gonna make this just not grade out the way that we want it to. So yeah, so the back looks a little bit rougher than I remember it being. One other thing too is you could take your finger, if you see any excess paper and stuff on the cards like this, the upper edge has a little bit of excess paper. So you can just kind of take your finger and just kind of wipe it, try to get rid of some of that extra paper. So down here, I'm seeing, and again, it's probably going to be hard to see on the camera, but down here there's a little indent and maybe a little mark. And one of the things you could do is you can actually look at the card vertically like this. And that sometimes helps you see a little bit better if it's something that might be too much. Yeah, so on the back there's just a little bit here, a little nick there, a little bit there. So it's getting to the point where it's probably a little bit too much for me, that I'm not gonna risk sending it in and getting something like an 8.5 or an 8 or something. So it's still a nice card, and actually the front looks really good, but this one I'm gonna pass on the grading. So when you're putting it back in a top loader or whatever, so grab your penny sleeve, and then if you just take a little razor or a hobby knife or whatever, if you just cut the end of it, just barely the tip of it, like that, what you can then do is grab your card here. You can actually slide it in from the side here, so your cut end is over here. And you're gonna slide it in this way. And when you do that, it makes it just so you don't sort of bump the corners on the upper thing here. Makes you get it in a lot easier. So this one we're just gonna keep raw. And I still think there's some serious upside to Kuminga and just the Warriors in general. Looks like they're well on their way to the Western Conference Finals. So we're just gonna put this guy back in a top loader and we'll set it in our pile that's ready to go to the show. So let's take a look at this next Kuminga and see if this one's a little better. Just throw away all the used penny sleeves. They're a penny, so make sure you're getting fresh ones there. This one has this, it's interesting, it has the same exact little dot there. Okay, I just wiped it off, so it was just a little thing. So yeah, I'm just using my microfiber cloth to kind of clear a little bit out there. Some of these Mojo parallels are kind of hard to tell too because they have lines going across them, so you don't know if it's actually like a scratch on the card or if it's just the refractor. So the front of this one looks pretty good, I think. Okay, let's flip it over. The backs are always tougher. It's got a little bit, there's a little tiny nick there. There's a nick there. Yeah, so there's, unfortunately this one also is a little, and this corner is just a little bit, I don't know if you guys can see, it's just not super sharp. So there's a little bit on the corner, yeah, so this is another one where it's like, I think probably it's at best a 9. So there's just too many little kind of nicks in it. But anyways, so we'll pass on this one as well. So let's just set it down for now. And do our little trick here. Cut the corner out. So we're gonna pass on this guy. That's okay, it's still a great card and it looks pretty good and someone could honestly grade this. It's not like it's a super hard reject, like there's a big problem with it. It's just not one that I really wanna kind of risk sending in and getting a 8.5, you know? If it would be, you know, probably a 9 or above, I would, you know, like for sure 9, 9.5, 10, then I would send it in, but if I find enough wrong with a card, I usually try to avoid sending it in. So anyways, so both Kumingas so far, no good. All right, this is probably the biggest card that I picked up. This is the Bryce Young first Bowman auto out of the University, Bowman University. So this one looks real nice. There's maybe a little bit, let's see if I can get this out. There's some vertical, a little bit, but it looks kind of like, man, it's tough because it's one of those ones where I don't know if it's the card. There's a little bit of a print line going down the middle. I'm not so concerned about it. So with me too, you can kind of breathe on it, just like get it going. The auto looks great. And it's one of those ones too where like you can't really see it from every angle. There's another like little tiny bit here above the first. That's not coming out, it looks like. Ooh, man, are we gonna have another reject here? We might. Oops, sorry, you can see my head. Man. Yeah, it looks pretty good. The thing is, do I want to just sell it as is, put it in a nice one touch, sell it as is, and let someone else take the risk? I think I do. So I think we're gonna pass on sending this one in too. It's probably a 9, I think. It's just got enough where I don't really see it getting a 10. It's still a great looking card here. So we're gonna pass on this guy as well. So we are 0 for 3 so far. It's one of those things where like you look at them at shows or you look at them at your local card store and you're like, oh, it looks pretty good. You know, I'm probably gonna be able to grade this, and then you get home and you look at it a little closer and it just gets a little bit, you know, you start to notice all the little tiny things wrong with it. So we're gonna pass on the Bryce Young. Still a great card though. I mean, you know, like I said, it's probably a 9. It's probably a PSA 9 or an SGC 9, but I don't think it has a shot at a 10. It might be a 9.5, but they'd have to probably be pretty generous. Kind of depends on the grader. So we're just going to throw this guy in a nice one touch and try to sell it that way. So Bryce Young. All right, we got this Davante Adams blue wave, and this one looked really good. So let's see if I was right or not. Well, it looks like we got... There's a print line that goes down the middle like that. So we might be going 0 for 4 here. Let me check and see if it's... It's one of those things though where like you can't really see it from every angle. And because it's definitely not a scratch that a human did. It's from the printing of the card. Let's look at the back here. Back looks nice too. Yeah, it's probably a 9, 9.5. There's a little bit of a scratch thing there. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna 10. The centering looks really nice on it. Top to bottom. Yeah, everything looks good except for that little neck on the back. And then the line here, but it takes me a lot of angles to find the line. It's one of those ones where I wonder if it's like, is it just worth it to see, send it in, maybe get a 9 on it? You know what? I think we're gonna do it. It's worth it to just kind of see what happens. I think it's probably gonna be a 9. That would be my guess. If someone's having a really bad day, it might be an 8.5, but I think it's gonna be a 9. If someone's having a good day, it's probably a 9.5. So anyways, so we're gonna send this in, open up. When you're doing these, make sure you open them up first, get a little space in there. And then kind of place it in. We'll see what happens with that one. That one we're gonna go for though. And the last card we have is this Desmond Bane Mosaic Variation. It looks pretty good. It looked good in the shop. I don't see any major scratches or anything. Run this over it, clean it off a little bit. And the edges. Let's look at the back. I'm having trouble with the backs here, so there's a little speck there, but it's just something else. Okay, and this one looks pretty good. It's not, I don't think it's perfect, but my guess is it's probably a 9.5. That would be my guess for it. You know, there's also something that I could miss and, you know, I might get a 9, but just look. Some of these variations are very difficult to tell if there's something wrong with the card or if it's just part of the refractor. It looks okay to me. So, yeah, so we're gonna go for this Bane as well. This is probably our best one that we have. The Adams make me a little nervous, but we're gonna do it just for science, see what it gets. I'm gonna be bummed if it comes back in 8.5, but if it comes back in 8.5, it comes back in 8.5. There's nothing you can do about it. So yeah, we'll do that, and then you gotta open up one of these card savers, and we'll shove it in there. So I'm looking to find some more cards to send into SGC. Hopefully at the shows this weekend I can pick some up and we can submit a big order here. Hoping to get around 10 to 15 cards. That would be ideal. So these are going to be the 2 that we're going to send in. I was really close on this Bryce Young. I thought it was a really nice card. It looks really quite good, honestly. It's just with the price of these cards now, and I think he's going to remain hot over the summer. It's probably not worth it at this point for me to send it in and get it graded. But it's definitely one that I'm excited to have no matter what. And we got these 2 going into SGC, and we'll see what they come back as. So thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys are new to this channel, please make sure to like the video, subscribe, comment down below. What kind of things are you guys sending in for grading? And we will see you next time. Cheers.